Hi, everybody. Thanks for waiting so long. Sorry we weren't able to come speak about the #1 pick sooner. As you all saw, we had a rather eventful evening. Um, so we have several conversations going on with other teams that I can't get into any specifics about, unfortunately. And we're just going to have to leave it there. So I know everybody's going to want to ask questions about things other than the first pick, and I just cannot say anything about any of it, unfortunately. Obviously, Zion was somebody from the very beginning that I think the city related to immediately. They reacted to in a very powerful fashion. Winning that lottery was obviously a watershed moment for us as a franchise. And we went through a pretty thorough process there, I think, in terms of knowing that the human part of all of that was right. Alvin Gentry and I were able to meet with Zion the night of the lottery. And we were so taken by him as a kid, as a human being. 20 minutes into it, I asked if he would mind if his parents came downstairs and sat with us, and we sat with them for about an hour and a half. This is a really, really impressive family. You'll hear me say much of this again tomorrow as well. The human element of this family is as impressive as the on-court element of Zion. It was very much a love affair for both of us right from the beginning. I think the family very much related to Coach Gentry. I'm going to say this again at the press conference tomorrow. Alvin Gentry is the only human being in the NBA that could have been in that room at that moment and delivered the message with the parents that he did in the way in which he did. He connected with them on every level. His roots in the Carolinas and the family's roots in the area, all of the players that Zion grew up being told by his stepfather, Coach Anderson, were good. Zion knows those players as being magical players. And Coach Gentry knew every one of them and could go into great detail about every one of them. And it was really a cool moment. So again, I want to keep reiterating the human part of this is at least as big as the on-court part, and all of you obviously have very high on-court expectations. Look, this is not somebody who's supposed to be the savior of this franchise. That's not what this is. This is a 19-year-old kid who's going to spend this year learning how to play winning NBA basketball. And everything that we're doing from now until the end of our time here as a franchise is going to be about long-term sustainable success. This is Drew Holiday's team. And when we made the trade that we made, or are working to complete rather, with a certain player who used to be here with Drew, we were very cognizant of the fact that this is Drew Holiday's team. And from the moment I got here on the ground, the very first conversation I had with him, I challenged him, and he has responded to it every step along the way. Zion is going to be part of learning how to win at a really high level. And at some point, if there's a time that the baton gets passed in terms of who's expected to carry us to win games, it will. That's not now. This is a 19-year-old kid. So we're going to take time with this, and it's not going to be something where I want people to just expect this is instantaneous. You know, it's amazing when you see him. He's got this just magnetic personality, and he makes everybody see such star quality that you immediately say he's the one. He's the one. He's the one because all he wants to do is win basketball games. Zion Williamson does not give a damn how many stats he puts up. He doesn't care about any individual awards. All he wants to do is win basketball games. That's all Drew Holiday wants to do. It's all anybody that we're going to invest in deeply here wants to do. And so let Zion be that kid. Don't write this like he's here to save this franchise. He's not. He's here to join this family, and we're here to raise each other. So I'll take any questions you have.
Did you happen to see any of the images of Fulton Square or anything that was happening downtown? Is that meaningful for you, considering what I think a lot of people might have expected, or you might have expected 6 months ago of this fan base?
Oh, sure. So obviously when we won the lottery, there was a pretty big outpouring of excitement, and everybody saw that famous tweet of the video of our ticket office. That didn't happen because they wanted us to draft somebody different than this kid, right? So there's been this groundswell of excitement, I think. I think because of Mrs. Benson's commitment to the franchise, what she's enabled us to do in terms of staffing, the bandwidth she's given us to go out and get the best and the brightest everywhere, I think we've continued to grow that momentum. So we're crescendoing maybe now, and I think what you saw on Fulton Street tonight is a big part of that. And I think it's only going to continue to grow. Again, everything that we're working on now, I think, is designed to continue to land the plane on other similar successes, and we just want to stack them one on top of another. It's never going to be about one player or one move. It's going to be the aggregate of that. And I think the market is reacting to that because they're feeling it. It's like, oh, no, this is when we lose it. No. Okay, now this is what, no. So we want to keep that happening. And because this is not, we don't win anything in the off season. And we were upstairs in the draft room, and we're all high-fiving each other, and everybody's really emotional. Okay, well, now we have to win basketball games. That's really cool, but now what? So I think we're all of that mindset, and I hope the city just continues to take the journey with us and believe in us.
David, you mentioned just how much this is a peak of everything that's been accumulating over the last couple of weeks. We talked about Pet 5 and that sort of thing. But can you take us into the war room a little bit? What was that moment like when this kind of finally happened? It's something you've been planning on for weeks.
Yeah, so, I mean, everybody saw Zion speaking about his mother, saw him being overwhelmed with emotion, which talking about it's going to overwhelm me with emotion. You know what you're getting as a player when you're building up to this. You think you know what you're getting as a player. You think you know what you're getting as a person. And when you see that kid on that stage who lives for that stage, be incapable of formulating thoughts other than how grateful he is, that impacts you in a really powerful way. So we all went from, oh, to, oh God, that's really, really sweet. Like it's overwhelming the human element of him. So I think we went from, wow, this is really going to be special to, see, that's why we love him. So.
Well, Griff, I mean, you could have taken anybody. You didn't take a choir boy, you took a basketball player, right? I mean, what is it that made him the number one pick? Why did you take him basketball?
Well, I mean, obviously, physically, he's touched by the hand of God to play this game. He's a population of one. Nobody's really ever been quite exactly like him. You know, people use a lot of big names. People use a lot of Hall of Fame names. Nobody's ever had his exact combination of size, explosiveness, lateral quickness, ability to defend multiple positions, and willingness to do whatever it takes to win. Usually when you have this makeup, you're used to being focal all the time, and it's about you. This is a kid with focal makeup, focal gifts, but his makeup is we-oriented. It's a highly unusual thing. To be able to get where you want to go on the handle like he can at his size, and then propel 275, 280 pounds, 42 inches off the ground with touch, I mean, he's really unique. And he's also got deficiencies that he's aware of, and he works on them like crazy. This is a workaholic of a basketball player. So I think everything that he cannot do, he will learn, and we will never teach anybody to be what he is as a competitor. That's God-given, and all he wants to do is win.
Dad, you've been in this for a while. Is this one of the easiest decisions you've ever had to make as far as picking a player?
So I would say this at the press conference tomorrow too, but one of the very first things I said to our staff in our first meeting was I said, okay, somebody make the case to me for Zion Williamson. And they thought I was kidding. Like, what do you mean, make the case? I mean, he's Zion. What do you mean? Take Zion. And I said, no, break it down for me as a basketball player. And everybody kept looking at me like I was crazy. I said, no, seriously, talk me into Zion Williamson. Why do we want the guy? And it took a while for people to really start to formulate words, because when you look at him, it's like, well, why do you think we want him? I mean, you look at him. It's hard for people to express it. And so I think when you start to go through the process and you really understand what makes this kid tick, you talk to Coach K and every member of the staff there, You know, Coach K called me again before tonight and just told me how lucky I was. And he's gone well out of his way to touch base many times along the way. He's really excited for what we're doing overall, I think, which is cool. But he's just excited for us as people because I think he recognizes the synergies that exist with all of us. So from that standpoint, it's pretty exciting.
You talked about how important culture is, and of course you've been emphasizing the human element, discussing Zion. That's been the common angle in your hires as far as the other parts of the front office. Now going forward, as you're still doing the conversations with other teams, as we start moving towards free agency and all those things, is that going to change at all when you start filling in pieces, or are you still looking for that type of thing, either short-term or long-term? Those personality fits into this culture.
Yeah, so absolutely. It won't change. You know, it's kind of funny when you're going through the draft process and the talent that was on the board in the 30s and 40s is on the board. Some of that talent's there because there may have been things that weren't great character fits with us. And we would have, on talent, had them much higher. And we make a very conscious decision that we're going to start there. We're going to surround this group with the right people. Obviously, with Zion being on board, you feel like you've got a high level of elite talent, so you want to surround the group with as many high character people as you can. I think relative to free agency, it's going to be about game fit, but the human element's still going to drive a huge part of it. You look at how young we are, we're going to need culture driver, veterans, and I think that's what we're going to continue to focus on. Not just guys who are good people, but who really genuinely, vocally, and actively drive culture, who also fit with what we need. So that'll be our emphasis.
You mentioned Drew Holiday. This is Drew Holiday's team. You heard from him tonight. Is he
Yeah.
eager to work with a team that is, I mean, this is a really young roster that Drew has here, and he's in his prime. How do you sort of balance those two things?
I think it would be a gross understatement to say that Drew is giddy right now. I mean, he's really excited about what's going on here. I think he gets it. And again, a big part of this is this isn't done. This isn't a finality. You know, a big part of what we've done is try to build as much optionality into the system as we can. If we are able to complete the deals that we are currently working on, we would have a good deal of cap space available, which gives us optionality relative to both free agents, but also deal flow. You're able to receive assets sometimes for taking contracts. You can give some of the incredible war chest of assets we have to get the right piece. So I think Drew is super excited about where we are in terms of talent level. I think he's also very cognizant of the fact that this is very, very far away from being a complete image of what we can be.
Did you have to sell Drew in that process of kind of taking on all this young talent, or was he completely okay with it?
No, it's funny, actually. We didn't try to sell him on the young talent. We sold him on the vision. This is what we're going to do. And to be honest, to a huge degree, he sold me on him too, right? So I don't want to make it sound like it took a sales job. It wasn't that. It was just, look, here's our vision. Everything that I've ever been about in my career from an executive standpoint is to find people like you. We're going to build this thing around you, and this is what it's going to look like. Just trust us. And he's given us that trust. So, you know, it's our job to keep that going. And the only way that happens is you win a bunch of basketball games. So we got to get to that point.
What would be your message to fans tonight who are looking at this and feeling like it's complete in some way? How do you tell them to both be excited for the future, but also be patient while we continue through this?
This was a lot of fun tonight. There's reason for everybody to be excited. I think the thing I would say more than anything else is trust us, stick with us through this. You're not going to know in advance how the dots connect, but we're going to connect them. So stick with us. Don't expect it to happen overnight. And if you're willing to invest in the long haul, let's dance.
Where did that come from, Let's Dance? Is that something you came up with?
That was Zion's own thing. I don't know. But it spoke to every one of us, I can tell you that.
So when you say trust us, and we're not gonna know how it's gonna work out, so of all the players you could potentially be bringing in, is it your style that you have to remain open to redealing any of those players before they've even played here, or were you?
No player that we would have acquired or are in the process of acquiring at this point was acquired to be moved elsewhere. Now, having said that, I've always said from the very beginning, there are no such things as untouchables. But there are, boy, I can't imagine what that would look like. And we've got a lot of, I can't imagine what that would look like on this roster right now.
Did anybody call you with the offer before the number one pick?
Yeah, people did. Yeah, which I thought was kind of fun. When you gauge that pick's worth by the offers that are made, it's pretty staggering. So, yeah, I mean, there were offers made. None of them were even remotely interesting because you're talking about a player of this magnitude. But, yeah, there were people who showed interest, for sure.
David, I'm paraphrasing, but when he met you at the press conference, you said something like, this is a job you wanted, and this is a good fit, and things like that. Aside from adding Zion today, is there things that you learned in the last few weeks that maybe this is better than you thought?
Yeah, so, I mean, the winning the lottery was one of those moments where you go, okay, maybe a big part of our future is taken care of now. And so you have a comfort level that comes from that. So you just go on about your business. And I would say that literally every day that we were going through the process of working on all of our deal flow and getting ready for the draft, I was more and more grateful to have made the decision to come here. My wife has been more and more grateful to have made the decision to come here. Everything about Mrs. Benson and the commitment she made to us sitting in that room that day, she's delivered upon, and then some. I don't think either one of us knew how deep this could really go in terms of our ability to impact the entire organization. And I think she's been even more open-minded than I ever could have hoped to really investing in a championship caliber nucleus. And now we have to start to build that kind of winning habit eventually. So,
Just a quick question about Alvin. You extended him. How important was that to get that done now?
yeah, very. And frankly, we would have done it earlier. I didn't want it to be something that was lost in some of the other things that were going on. And I think if we hadn't done it when we did, it would have just sort of been caught up in the din of Zion. So we wanted to do it at a time when people recognized it was a unique situation. But that heading into this moment, there's never going to be any question of what we are. Stylistically, what happened tonight is all about Alvin Gentry and his system, and the fact that we know what it looks like to win at the highest level with Alvin. And we went to the conference finals playing a system that nobody else played at the time. We know how to build to that system. So the synergies that exist there, I think, are really powerful. Not picking up the option was never in the cards. It was just a matter of when.
There's some big two more guys to speak to, but the G League franchise starting this year, the amount of players who are coming in, especially the young guys. How does that synergize? Is that part of the plan? Would it have been different if there was not a G League franchise starting this year?
Probably not. If we're able to complete all of the transactions and we end up with the people we think we're going to end up with, we would have done that with or without, I think. What the G League situation gives us is incredible bandwidth to develop players there in the same manner culturally that we will here. All of the coaching staff there will be with us throughout all of the preseason leading up into everything. They'll be part of our coaching staff. We'll be sending workout coaches and skills development coaches that we're going to call two-way coaches. Anytime we send a player, the two-way coach will go down with the player. And when the player comes back, the two-way coach will come back. So we're, again, Mrs. Benson's investing this in every way. We didn't need to have a G League team to want to do what we did tonight. The G League team makes us feel more confident that we'll be successful raising however many young players we bring through the system. It was an untrue statement. I believe he ordered shrimp. But, yeah, for me personally, Commanders was something that was a big deal, as you know. So doing the lunch there was a pretty powerful thing for me. I was really grateful we got to do it. His younger brother did chicken tenders, basically, which I believe are on the kids' meal. And to be honest, Noah was onto something, because the vast majority of everybody at the table went, that looks pretty good. So apparently they do that well over there. Thanks, guys.